One video with differing perspectives.
The police shooting death of Takaya Young captured by police body cameras.
Shots fired.
I understand why it could be justified, but again, I don't make that decision. Ultimately, a grand jury is going to make that decision.
I think the video is going to speak for itself.
I still can't quite understand why his gun came out.
We bring you team coverage. You'll hear from the people touched by the shooting.
And you'll see the video for yourself next on NBC4 at 5.
Now, breaking news from NBC4.
Body camera footage released today from the deadly shooting at Kroger in Blendon Township last Thursday.
This comes 8 days after 21-year-old Takaya Young was shot in the store parking lot on Sunbury Road. Young was pregnant when she was shot and also leaves behind 2 children. Now, we do want to warn you, the images you are about to see will be graphic and disturbing. Jamie?
Yeah, so this video comes from the body-worn cameras from each of the 2 officers who were involved in the incident last Thursday. Each of those videos is just over 1 minute long as the confrontation with Takaya Young plays out in just a matter of seconds. The first officer to interact with Takaya Young approaches her car under the suspicion that she stole liquor from Kroger.
Hey, stop. Hey, out of the car. Out of the car.
By the time the second officer gets to the car and walks in front of it, the first officer had asked Young to get out 5 times. He keeps asking. Young argues. You can hear the exchange on that officer's body-worn camera.
Out of the car. Out of the car. They said you stole stuff, do not leave. Get out of the car. Then get out. No, then get out. Get out of the car.
Young begins to drive. In this freeze frame, you can see the car make contact with the officer standing at the front of the car as his feet leave the ground. That is when that officer fires 1 shot through the windshield. We've paused the video to not show that deadly shot. When we pick up the video a moment later, you can hear the commands continue. The car rolls through the parking lot, stopping under the awning by the store. The video ends with officers busting the driver's side window to get Young out of the car. Now, while Young argues with one of the officers, she denies, as you heard, stealing anything from Kroger. And I just want to walk you back to what she said. She said, quote, "Are you going to shoot me?" Those are the last words you heard from Takaya Young. Also,
good God almighty. I don't seen everything, people. I really don't know what to make of this, people. She was accused of stealing something out of the store called Kroger's. Now, out here in my state, we used to have Kroger's out here in my state. And let me just share this story with y'all, because I never really shared this story. And after I finished sharing my story on my experience as a customer, how, what I dealt with Kroger's, because I was accused of stealing from Kroger's too. This was back in, I want to say this was back in 2010 or 2011 when this happened. That's when Kroger's was still around in my state. But I remember my mother took me to the store, right? I was in the car with my mother, right? And I asked my mother, can she take me to the bank over there where Kroger's at? Because, the bank that I went to was called SunTrust. So I went over there to the bank over there with SunTrust to cash my work check, because I was happy that day. And it was cold that day too. It was like maybe 30 degrees that day. So my mother took me there to go cash my check from my job, because I was happy because my check was looking pretty good. So right after I cashed my check, I walked back to my mother's car and I told my mother, I'm about to walk in Kroger's real quick and get me a box of cereal and milk. And my mother was like, hurry up, it's cold out here. So I said, okay, Mom, I'll be back in a minute. So right when I walked into Kroger's, I walked down the aisle, didn't touch anything, just walked into the store. I noticed that I felt the draft. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I didn't feel the draft when I was outside, but when I got inside Kroger's, I felt the draft. And I noticed that my pants was unzipped. And I said, holy shit. So what I did was I zipped my pants up. I looked around, I just zipped my pants up. So when I zipped my pants up, I zipped it up because, I don't want to walk around like I'm some pervert. I don't want to make people think that I'm some pervert walking around on the store with my pants unzipped. You know, I don't know why I didn't notice that when I was in the bank, but when I got in Kroger's, I noticed that I felt the draft. So right when I zipped my pants up, I walked down the, you know what I'm saying? I walked down the aisle, grabbed me a box of cereal and milk, and walked straight to the register. And right when I walked straight to the register, I don't know, I just had like a weird feeling that somebody was like staring at me or looking at me. So when I looked behind me a little ways, one of the workers at Kroger's kept looking at me. And the guy was not no security guard. He was not no security guard at all. He was, he just stalked the shelves. Cause, you know, I've been in that Kroger's a lot. And, you know, I seen that guy, all he does is just stalk the shelves. You know what I'm saying? He's no security guard, no nothing. So he kept looking at me. So I just like, whatever. I just turned back around, went in line, paid for my cereal and milk. And right when I was getting ready to walk out the exit, this fool right here was going to stand there by the exit door. And he kept looking at my private part. And he said, "You wouldn't have anything in there, do you?" And I said, "What seems to be the problem? I'm not stealing nothing." And he said, "Well, I'm not accusing you of stealing nothing." I said, "That's still the same thing of accusing somebody of stealing something. You asking me if I stuffed something down there in my pants." And I said, "Come on, dude, don't insult me like that. I'm not stupid, dude. Don't insult me like that." So I got loud in the store. I raised my voice and I was cursing this dude out. One of the managers came down. I think it was a woman. It was a woman manager looking like a nerd. She came downstairs saying what's going on, and I was cursing the dude out, and I was begging them to call the police. I did. I begged the people calling the police. I mean, the store was quiet. The store was quiet. I said it was about 10 or 30 people in that store just standing there looking at me, and I was acting like a nigga in there. And I was begging them to call the police. And I told them, call the police. And when the police get here and when they're done searching me, I'm pressing charges against you people for discrimination. For discrimination, I'm pressing charges. I'm taking you, and I'm taking all you motherfuckers to court. And the woman was like, "No, sir, we believe you, sir. You can go ahead and walk out." And the guy that accused me, you know, the one that accused me, he was over there mumbling and shit like that. And I told him, I said, "What?" I said, "What's up then?" I said, "You want to go outside, bro?" I said, "We can do this outside, bro." I call him a faggot. He said, "You keep looking at my private part." He told the manager that, well, it looked like that he was stuffing something in his pants. I said, "Motherfucker, I was zipping my pants up, man. I didn't just stuff nothing in my pants." I said, "You don't believe me?" I said, "I'll unbutton my pants right now." And the people and the woman and the manager, she was like, "No, sir, you don't have to do it, sir. No, sir, don't do it." Because I was getting ready to unbutton, pull my pants down real quick. I was about to fucking do that shit. But they was like, "No, sir, everything's good, sir. You can go ahead, sir." So the guy kept mumbling, saying something, and I pointed my finger in his face, and I told him that if you fuck with me again, me and you gonna have problems. And then I walked out. That's exactly what I told his ass. I told him that if you fuck with me again, we gonna have problems. And Kroger's will accuse you of that shit. I've had my fair share with Kroger's. Even some of my brother homeboys, even some of my brother. Some of his homeboys, they got accused of stealing from that store. And plus, that Kroger was like in the hood around a bunch of blacks. So a lot of people were stealing in that Kroger where I was at. So, yeah, the people that work in Kroger's, yes, they will accuse you. If you look like you stole something, they will do that. The only difference is with me is that I stayed there. I begged them to call the police. I begged them to call the police. I asked them 7 or 8 times to call the goddamn police. They would not call the police. I didn't just walk away. I stood there. I stood my ground. And that's what this woman should have did. If you know that you didn't steal nothing out of that Kroger's, why did you try to run from the police? The police officer asked you 3 or 4 times or maybe more to step out the car because you were stealing liquor. Why are you stealing liquor anyway? You're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? You're a mother. You got 2 kids and you're already pregnant. And now you're dead because You tried to take off on the police officer, and now you don't give the police officer a reason to shoot you now. Now you're dead. If she was my baby mama, I would be angry with the police as well, but I'd be more pissed off with her for being stupid, because not only that you got yourself killed of your ignorance, but you got the baby that's in your belly killed too. All over a liquor. Was it really worth it? If you know you didn't steal nothing, why didn't you listen to the police officer? Why didn't you obey these police officer commands? If you know you didn't steal nothing. Like, is it really worth it over a freaking liquor? Now it doesn't matter whether you stole liquor or not, because you're dead now. So now it really doesn't matter now, people, whether she stole something or not. They hadn't really confirmed it that she stole liquor or not. So it really don't matter if she stole liquor or not, because now she's dead. You dead for nothing over a liquor. You dead for nothing. All because of your ignorance. You black, I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem with black people, man. Y'all gotta stop trying to fuck with the cops. Stop fucking with the cops. It's like every time when these police officers tell y'all to roll down y'all window, even though y'all car smell like marijuana. Bro, roll down your window, bro. Why did the police officer have to repeat themselves 5 or 6 times or 10 times to tell you to roll down your freaking window? So now you are already making a scene. Now you're already giving a cop a reason to want to shoot you now. They be looking for that. They look for people like y'all to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you go easy on a police officer, they'll go easy on you. But if you want to be an asshole and cussing at the cops and try to be aggressive with the cops, they're going to be aggressive with you back. You know what I'm saying? And now this woman's dead for nothing, all because of over a liquor. I mean, was it really worth trying to run away over a stupid liquor? Was it really worth it? Dead for nothing. I mean, just dead for nothing, man. And a lot of people saying that the police officer should never pull the gun out. And they're going to use that as their excuse, because you did try to run over the police officer. You did try to run him over. And he's going to use that as his defense with his lawyer. Because why did you try to run over the police officer? Why did you try to run over the police officer? And even if you didn't run over the police officer, why would you try to run for the police officer and have them chase you? Knowing you're pregnant. Knowing you're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's child abuse right there. You sat there and put your own life at risk. You dead for nothing now, all because you wanted to be stupid. All I gotta say is I hope the liquor was worth it. Whatever you stole out of there, I hope it's worth it, because now you're dead for nothing now. And I got a feeling that these police officers, they most likely probably going to be fired, probably. But I don't think they're going to get no time for this, because you should have never took off. You sat there, the police officer asked you 5 or 6 times or maybe more to get out of the car. And what did you do? You tried to argue with the police officer saying, are you going to shoot me? And now you're dead now. For nothing. For nothing. Gosh, boy. When is people like this woman's going to stop being so ignorant? Stop trying to mess with the police officer. Y'all think these police officers out here playing? Y'all be trying to play with the police officer too much. And this is what happens when you try to play with the cops. These cops out here not playing with y'all. They tell you get out the car, get out the car. Stop playing these dumb games with these cops. Especially when they got the gun drawn on you. They was already expecting you to pull off. That's why you had the gun drawn off, because he already expected it. And you was gonna run from the police officer. You was gonna run from the police officer and start a high-speed chase, putting that baby inside putting that child that's inside your baby at risk. I don't feel sorry for this woman, people. I don't feel sorry for her. She was being dumb and ignorant.